Big rocks and unwanted monkeys. That's what we're talking about on today's episode. Hello and welcome to the M2 Leadership Conversation, a space where we talk honestly about the real challenges leaders face and what it actually takes to lead well in the real world. I'm Michael Hales. That's Michelle Hales. We're M2 Leadership Consulting. Welcome. Thanks for being with us today. Michelle, we have something going on right now that we like to call our leadership lab.
Mm-hmm.
It's what's commonly known as a mastermind group, where we take a book. In this case, it's the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. And we read through it together. We meet once a week. We've got 2 different sessions that people can attend either or. And we get together and discuss our required reading for that week. And this past week, actually, we met to discuss this just yesterday as we're recording this. And one of the chapters was on priorities.
Involve priorities.
And the idea is that as a leader, wherever you are in your evolution, whether you're at the beginning stage, whether you're mid-career, whether you've ascended to the heights and are now CEO or whatever it is, a leader, pinnacle leader in your organization, you never outgrow the need to establish and maintain priorities.
Correct.
And the reason why is life just kind of happens. In every situation, including our work and our careers and occupation, if we're not intentional about the way we do things, then stuff tends to expand to fill up whatever space there is in your life. And so prioritizing and making sure you keep the main thing is always going to be important no matter where you are in that journey.
I mean, I think priorities are required for parents, for partners. It's fluid in life. You have to set priorities or life will happen to you. You'll always be taking care of urgent things rather than important things. Um, so yeah, it was a great chapter for our discussion, law of priorities. And more we find people, are having trouble setting and maintaining priorities. But the chapter gave us some really good tips on how to do that. And we had a guest, our friend Dan Rockwell, who is has Leadership Freak. If you've never heard of him, look him up. It's fantastic. And he gave us a little insight to some of the ways that he manages priorities and what he does with his coaching clients
It was
and
really
helping
good
them.
stuff.
It was so good. So
And
we're going to go over
shout
some
out
of
to
that.
Dan. Thank you, Dan, for joining us and being a part of just joining in, being part of our group, and contributing to the discussion. And I want to take just a minute here to point out, if you're not doing something to intentionally grow yourself as a leader, you need to start. And getting in a mastermind group is a low bar of entry. It's not super expensive. It's an hour a week in most cases. Requires a little light reading, which, pro tip, you should be doing anyway. And it's an opportunity to come together with some really like-minded people that, the whole iron sharpens iron kind of thing from scripture. That's what happens in these groups. And of course, we have our M2 Leadership Lab Mastermind, and we would love for anybody listening to get in on that. We have one going right now, and we plan to keep a continuing kind of cycle of those in the works. But that's probably something you should look into if you're not already in one. But yeah, to get into some of what Dan shared with us, he's got what he likes to refer to as the big rocks kind of idea. And I love this. I had read it in his blog, and I was so glad when he brought it up in our conversation yesterday because I think it's a concept that people can easily visualize.
Right. And this was what he was doing with his coaching clients. Every week, he asked them, "What is your big rock?"
Hmm.
So think about if you have a bucket of things to be done this week,
Hmm.
and you start filling the bucket with all these little rocks, these little pebbles,
Hmm.
and you don't get that big rock in there first,
Yeah,
there's a really good chance
it's
by the
not
end of
going
the
in.
week, your big rock will not fit.
It doesn't take a lot of little rocks to get in there first,
Mm-hmm.
and just things that come up in the regular, ebb and flow of life, and just the things that happen on a daily basis will overcrowd, and it doesn't take long that you're so full of that stuff that you don't have room anymore in your bucket to fit in the big important rocks that you
Exactly.
really wanted to do, and the things that you would have really prioritized had you actually taken time and been deliberate and intentional about doing so.
Yeah, and you were mentioning the leadership lab. That's one of those things that I consider important,
Hmm.
but it's not urgent. And you think you can grow yourself. Oh, I'll find time for some
I'll
development.
find time.
But if you're not intentional about it and make it a priority, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so many times we confuse busyness and productivity
Hmm.
with doing the important things in life. Busyness is not, and producing things and getting things done does not move the mission.
Hmm.
Of course, there's things you have to get done, and you got to take care of the little pebbles as well. But if you're not prioritizing the big important things that are going to move you down the line, you will end up being just stuck with, you're going to grow stagnant,
Hmm.
and you're going to have these buckets of little rocks that, and you never get anywhere with where you're really trying to go, what the goal really is, what the mission really is. And so that's really just the whole concept of it.
Yeah, and I think it speaks to vision as a leader as
Yes.
well, and to the idea of if you are so close to the work and what's happening every day, and you never take time and get intentional about rising up and taking a look at the horizon, then how do you really know you're going in the right
Mm-hmm.
direction? I don't remember if it was in the chapter. I read a lot of stuff, so I don't remember if this was in one of the chapters that we read for the leadership lab or some of my other incidental reading. But it was this somebody defined a leader as a person who, if as you're in the jungle, they will climb the tallest tree and look around and say, "Hey, everybody, wrong jungle. We're not even in the right place. We need to go somewhere else and start." And that's,
Exactly.
I think, a good idea of what I'm talking about with vision. And
Mm-hmm.
you have to have that, and it helps you determine what your priorities should be
Yes.
instead of just being caught up in the day to day that you're just busy doing stuff with no real end or goal or objective in mind. And
And
it can happen.
and the vision planning, that's again one of those really important things. But again, the urgent, you get, if you're a business owner, just
Hmm.
think, got to meet payroll, you got to get this done, you got to call that client back, all the little things.
Yeah.
It will just eat up your day and your time. And so when we talk about the things, Maxwell has like 5 things that he does every day.
Hmm.
And one of those things is reflect. And
Hmm.
you've got to take time to know, you got to, chart the course.
Right.
The captain has to know where we're going. What is the destination? And so many times we're just so busy, even now in our small business, we are, there's so much that's filling up your day now. with meetings and networking and clients, every now and then we have to take a step back and where are we going?
Where are we going?
Reprioritize.
And as you were talking, I think you mentioned the captain has to know where we're going, and it gave me this vision of a ship out in the ocean, and the helmsman can be just steering away to his heart's content. I guess it'd be like this with the ship's wheel kind of thing, and the people on the oars can be just rowing, rowing, rowing. And it doesn't make any difference if you don't have a course chart. If you don't know where you're going, you could be going in circles.
Absolutely.
All right, so priorities are
Yep.
important. You got to get your big rocks in there. Now, and something else you said about um, the urgent versus important. I think that's so critical here because as a leader, you're often at the mercy of the people that you're leading and your shareholders, your stakeholders, those that your customers that you're serving, your other teams that you have to communicate with and coordinate with in order to produce the big thing that whatever it is you're working on in your field. They're never gonna come to you and demand, hey, have you done your long range planning? Have you made sure that you've got a vision for where you're going? Are you making sure that the important things are the important things and your big rock? They're never going to ask that.
No.
Because they all have something that they need right now. They need your help with. We got this problem, boss. We got this. We got that. We have the urgent. You're always going to have. That's why it's urgent. There's always demands for this and that and the other thing that make them urgent. That may not mean, honestly, that they're important at all. Because, and this is where we get into the monkey part. So there's this other concept about, I don't even know where it originated from. I know it from this book that was given to me by one of the best bosses I ever worked for, Mark Walker. The 1 Minute Manager Meets the Monkey. And the 1 Minute Manager is a Ken Blanchard thing. And he did this little short, easy read book on the monkey concept. And it's like care and feeding of monkeys in this context that we're talking about is monkeys are your little problems, your little, I got this issue. And if you're not careful, you as a leader will inherit a bunch of monkeys that you never wanted, you didn't ask for, and they somehow arrived here. And sometimes you look around and don't really know how this happened. You got to be careful of that. And that's one thing that works against us in trying to get our big rocks in the bucket, and you're dealing with all these monkeys. So let's unpack that a little bit, Michelle.
Yeah, so I was thinking about how, as a leader, number one, it feels good to be able to solve problems. Leaders are naturally action oriented, and we like to solve problems. And it will feed our ego if we're not careful. It will feed our ego when someone comes to us and has a problem.
Or a monkey.
For us to be able to say, oh, I know how to take care of that monkey. I'll take this monkey. The person goes away happy. They no longer have a monkey to have to take care of. But what you're going to end up with is an office that looks like a zoo.
And multiply that times 3 or 5 or a dozen or however many times it happens, and you've got an office full of monkeys.
And so we have to be careful. We have to be so mindful that we are empowering, resourcing, and developing our people so that they can take care of their own monkeys. You didn't hire them to bring you monkeys.
Right.
You hired them to do a job. So when they come in, and Dan said this so beautifully, you don't give them the answer. You ask them, what have you tried? That allows them to go through the process saying out loud, I didn't really try anything. or I tried this and this.
Yeah, the reality is I panicked and brought it straight to you,
I knew
boss.
you would have the answer. So I just came here. That's
Yeah.
the easiest way. But the next thing that you can do is, even if they've tried or if they've not tried, you ask them, what would you like to try?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't tell them what to try. You just say, what would you like to try? And you let them go through that mental process of learning that they can figure out how to take care of their monkey and get rid of their monkey.
Dan,
So,
just like you said, Dan put it so beautifully, and one of the big points that he made is it's useful for your people to go through that mental exercise, number one, of doing that, and number two, to say it out loud in front of you,
mhm,
that make that confession of, I haven't tried
mhm.
anything, or I haven't really done all I could to solve this problem on my own before bringing it to you.
And this is in no way trying to be demeaning
No,
to people who are coming to you for help.
it's not shaming people, it's training
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if they come in and they leave having offloaded their problem to you,
Mm-hmm.
you've trained them to do that. Hey, this worked really well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do this next time I have a
Oh,
monkey.
absolutely.
The boss will just take it.
Yeah. So the other thing is, I think we should always, when we're developing our employees like this, and they come in and they've got this problem, the monkey that they want to hand us, when you are taking the time to really develop them, you have to realize, and it will feed your soul
Mm-hmm.
when you realize how you are empowering them,
Mm-hmm.
that you are growing them. And it's like a parent with a child. That's so much more rewarding and has a much more long-term effect on them, on the corporation, on the organization. Just think about it as you're in a parenting mode.
Mm-hmm.
You want to develop them into a good citizen, a productive citizen that can run their own house.
Yeah.
And so instead of, Mom, I don't know how to wash a load of clothes. Well, you take them to the washing machine, or you say, have you tried? What does it look like might happen here?
Yeah.
And the more you walk them through that, you are empowering them with problem solving skills.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of people you want on your team.
I even think of it, the parent child thing. My mind goes back to a little small child when they have toys, the educational toys that they're
Mm-hmm.
playing with, the little thing where it has triangle and square and circle shaped slots in it,
Mm-hmm.
and the little corresponding. If they're having trouble figuring out which one goes where, you don't just take the thing away from them. And look, you do it like this.
Mm-hmm.
You help them, and you're patient with them. You guide them.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a little more time.
It takes
It would
more
be
time.
a lot quicker to just take the blocks and the thing and put done. But that's not productive. It's not helping their growth,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not getting anything out of
Mm-hmm.
that. They're learning the wrong things from
Absolutely. So I think it's, when it's broken down like this, it's pretty simple.
that. Mm-hmm.
That you want to ask questions instead of providing answers.
Mm-hmm.
Ask questions that will lead them in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the other things that Dan mentioned, and I loved this one, if you don't know how to do it, then you say, if they don't know how to do whatever task they're trying to accomplish or solve the problem, who do you know that might?
Yes.
And so that's the reason I mentioned resources. It's so important that people realize and employees realize to be resourceful,
Mm-hmm.
and that your office is kind of saved for much bigger issues.
Yes.
When you have a resource, you go do you take it to the resources first.
Mm-hmm.
Search the resources, be as resourceful as you possibly can before you bring something to me. And people that are really wanting to learn, they'll pick up on that really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, other people who just really want to have their problem solved for them, there may need to be a harder conversation.
Yes.
I'm not going to solve your problems for you. I didn't hire you for me to do your job.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have that honest, candid conversation. And then show them, I'm going to ask you. So you know the questions I'm going to ask you when you come in here. Ask yourself those questions before you come
Mm-hmm.
in here and see where you land.
That reminds me, I think it's a Colin Powell quote, and I'll try to keep it G rated for the podcast. But leadership sometimes means being willing to irritate the right people, to make them angry at you, to make them miffed at you a little bit. And it's those kind of people that you're talking about that need to have kind of a wake up call
For
sometimes
sure.
given to them. I'm not going to take this problem away from you. I'm going to support you and assist you as you figure it out for yourself. And I think about when you said, who can you talk to that might know the answer or might be able to help you? Think about all the good, um, almost accidental benefits come from that kind of approach.
Yes.
You're building um, soft skills, the ability to approach a colleague and ask for help. You're promoting better relationships on the team or even outside the team if they need to go to somebody outside the team. You're building more trust. You're helping them with their own self-confidence in, like you said, resourcefulness. There's
Mm-hmm.
all kind of fringe benefits that come along with that, much more so than just give me that, I'll take care of
Mm-hmm.
it.
That's so good. So we started talking about priorities.
Hmm.
I kind of want to bring it back around to
Let's
there
do it.
because learning how to not accept the monkeys that are brought to you will help you have the time to focus on the big rock.
100%.
And I think that's why we wanted to kind of combine these
Yes.
two little things here, in that if you're not taking time to take care of that big rock, and you should have a big rock every week,
Hmm.
something that's moving the company forward, the
What's the most
organization
important?
forward. What is the most important thing?
Hmm.
And always coming back to that. And let the little rocks fall into place around the big rock.
That's the key.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get the big rocks in there first, or else they're never going to fit around all the little
Mm-hmm.
rocks.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, to wrap up, big rocks and monkeys, on the surface, there's no real connection, but as you dig into it, I think there really is. And it's, you know, getting your big rocks in the bucket first, making sure that you don't have so many monkeys around that they're keeping you away from focusing on what your priorities are, and that's going to help you really go a long way as a leader and fulfill the role that you really need to be fulfilling.
Absolutely. Also, I hope you've enjoyed the dogs today.
They have been off the chain a little bit, but we
It
persevered.
was so hot outside, we didn't put them outside today. We let them stay in.
All right. I want to thank you all for spending a few minutes with us in the M Squared Leadership Conversation.
Yeah.
Michelle, leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about being willing to ask better questions. So until next time, stay curious, lead well, and keep the
Keep the
conversation
conversation
going.
going.